They said, look, these two former NBA players were considered face cards. And the face cards were designed to lure these gamblers in to playing these poker games. And so I'm like, all you got is two? I'm like, all right, who's showing up? Man, we got everybody. We got Chauncey Billups. I'm like, ooh, all right, Chauncey, Hall of Famer. He got a ring. That's what's up. Who else? We got Damone Jones. I'm like, who?
Call your first witness. I got Kenneth Willis. He bought his business, he gon' take it the distance. Listen, he giving gaming, believing high level represent. Call your first witness. Yeah, call your first witness.
Griff has been paid for this endorsement.
Where you at, beautiful people? How you doing? How you living? How life treating you? Welcome to another episode of Call Your First Witness. It's your boy, K Will, checking in. Second season. Let's get it going. Glad you with me. All right. What we got for today, y'all? What's hot? What's on and popping? Y'all already know. Today, I'm going to jump right into the case involving the NBA, right? You got to mention the NBA. Chauncey Billups, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers. You got Terry Rozier, if I'm saying his name correctly, right? Basketball player for the Miami Heat. You got a lot of allegations going on. And what really piqued my interest was Chauncey Billups, right? Like, I mean, let's keep it real. He's pretty much the headliner because, you know, Chauncey Billups, we're talking about a Hall of Fame basketball player, right? Some would question that to keep it real. I'm going to leave that alone. But, you know, recently, 2024, Chauncey Billups was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Had a nice career, real good basketball player, won a championship for the Detroit Pistons, and now he's coaching, you know, and on most accounts, he's doing a great job, right? And so you got Chauncey Billups waking up in the wee hours in the morning, right? And you got the feds knocking on his door. Y'all, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. There's a method to this madness, man. It seemed like every story I hear, man, the feds, they come early in the morning. The roosters barely done woke up. They knocking on that door early in the morning. And so Coach Billups has himself in a situation where just 2 days before it was the opening season in the NBA. Now he's dealing with this. Right? And I got to think this didn't blindside him. I'm sure he had his lawyers already lined up. He was getting advice. But still in all, the timing of this, right? At the beginning of the season, this is what Chauncey Billups got to deal with. And so, again, this piqued my interest, not to belittle Terry Rozier, right? He's on another indictment. I may address that a little later. Not to belittle Damon Jones. He's another former basketball player. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I had to look him up. Okay, I had to look up, in no disrespect to Damone Jones, but I really did not know who that was. And I may be saying his name wrong, maybe Damon. Like that goes to show you I didn't know who he was and the significance about that situation. And look, I got nothing but respect for anybody who made the NBA. So that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying any indictment, y'all know me. I could hear all the headlines, all the newspaper articles, all the social media, all that kind of stuff. But I'm interested in the evidence. I'm interested in what's written on that indictment. And that indictment ain't nothing but a piece of paper, right? And so I'm looking at all the information, and what I read, y'all, before I filmed anything, I grabbed both of those indictments, right? Chauncey Billups is on one indictment. The allegations are saying he was a participant in defrauding gamblers who thought they were participating in a legit poker game, right? And so part of what they said about Chauncey and also Damon Jones, they said, look, these two former NBA players were considered face cards, right? And the face cards were designed to lure these gamblers in to playing these poker games. And so I'm like, all you got is two? So you luring big time gambling players, because some of these players had a whole lot of money, real wealthy folks, right? And so you luring these people in. So I'm just thinking like, all right, who y'all got? If I'm a gambler, right? If I want to play poker and you trying to get me to come and gamble, and you like, look, bro, we going to have some former NBA players. You know, they going to be gambling too, man. Y'all want in on this? I'm like, all right, who's showing up? Who you got? Man, we got everybody. We got Chauncey Billups. I'm like, ooh, all right, Chauncey, Hall of Famer. He got a ring. That's what's up. Who else? We got Damon Jones. I'm like, who? I'm like, Damon Jones, who he played for? Yeah, bro, remember he played for the Cavs. Nah, cuz you gonna have to Google him for me. Like, all right, who else you got? We working on other players. We working on other players too. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. But what I'm saying is, if you're saying these are so-called face cards, and all you have is Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones, I'm like, okay, that's telling me there were some other individuals, some former NBA players who may have been involved, allegedly. Remember, we got to say that. And they weren't indicted because now they're singing like a hummingbird. Or this is just, I got a whole lot of questions. You know what I mean? I got a whole lot of questions because that don't make a whole lot of sense, y'all. I'm sorry. If you saying this was designed to lure folks into play, and I'm talking about big time gamblers, you don't really got a whole lot of headliners, man. I'm sorry. And so that out the gate, I'm questioning. But y'all, as I'm reading this indictment, okay, they try to lay it out. They got buku defendants, 31 defendants. Chauncey Billups is one, Damon Jones is another, and then they naming a whole lot of people that are allegedly associated with organized crime families, right? You got a whole bunch of defendants, and so they lay out incident by incident, right? And before they do that, they describe how these alleged victims were defrauded, right? And so they're saying, look, they use high-tech devices to defraud these victims. You had a rigged card shuffling machine, right? You had kind of like X-ray cameras underneath the table to detect the cards when they were turned upside down, right? You could see the cards that were face down on the table. Just a lot of high-tech stuff, right? Like, just imagine, I don't play poker, I don't gamble like that, but if you experience that environment, it's just high-tech stuff. It's more advanced. You know, you got people with high-tech glasses on and that sort of thing. And if you haven't really been exposed to that environment, you know, just imagine, I don't know, Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Just imagine those movies, you know, all the schemes, all the wheeling and dealing, you know, sleight of the hand, that sort of stuff to defraud folks. You know what I mean? Just imagine that, you know, the movie Casino with Robert De Niro, you know what I mean? Just imagine that just on a high-tech level. Y'all know I'm clowning about Oceans 15, 16, and 17. I don't think they came out yet. But by the way, I heard Oceans 14 is filming right now as we speak. Well, maybe not as we speak, but this year, Oceans 14 is being filmed. It's slated to come out in 2026. Just as an aside, right? I mean, they're going to keep going. You already know how that go. I don't know what number we on with Fast and the Furious. Like, I'm sorry. Is it 19? Is it 20? I don't know. Sometimes you got to know when to cut it short, right? And some movies have no business doing a sequel. I'm sorry, I'm upset, but they had no business coming out with a Gladiator 2. I'm sorry, y'all. They had no business doing that to one of my favorite actors, Denzel Washington. I'm sorry. And everybody I talked to, I said, do not mess with Gladiator. Do not mess with, that is my favorite movie. Leave it alone. It don't need a sequel. It don't need a book. It don't need nothing. Excuse my double negative. But I'm sorry. Like, that was, on Denzel's level, that still was a dud. And I hate to do that, but they had no business touching Gladiator. And they ain't had nothing to do with Denzel. Denzel gonna do his thing, right? He gonna do his thing. I digress. All right, back to the matter at hand. So we got a situation where I'm looking at this indictment, y'all, and I'm like, hold up. So now they laying out the incidents. They start, and get this, y'all. This the one that really alarms me. They laying out the sequence of events, and I'm looking, again, my focus is on Chauncey Billups, right? I'm not really too caught up. I don't even think this is a story if Chauncey Billups' name is not attached to this. Real talk, right? And so they're describing the incidents, right? This is the U.S. Attorney's Office. We're talking about the indictment. And they started off in 2019, right? We talking pre-COVID, okay? They said Chauncey Billups, they allege Chauncey Billups and 4 other defendants were in Las Vegas, Nevada, right? Involved in this poker scheme, right? And they talk about the card shuffling machine and all that kind of stuff. But they're not really specific in terms of Chauncey Billups' involvement. They mention a victim. They said the victim lost $50K. All right? Now, $50K, that's a lot of money. No question about it. But what's interesting about it is now the next incident they discuss is in 2023. And this incident allegedly happened on Lexington Avenue in New York, right? And so you done skipped a whole bunch of years, but get this. This incident in 2023, you don't see Chauncey Billups' name. Then they got another incident that happened in the summer of 2023 in the Hamptons in New York. You don't see Chauncey Billups' name. Then they mentioned another incident in 2024 in Miami. You don't see Chauncey Billups' name. And so you done loop this brother in on an alleged poker scheme, right? A fraudulent scheme, and you done went way back to 2019, but the rest of the charges jumped to 2023 to 2024. So what you're saying, Willis, you saying because it was in 2019, right? And you got all these other incidents that happened in 2023 and then 2024, are you saying this is outside of the statute of limitations? No. All I'm saying is Chauncey Billups is on this indictment for an incident that allegedly happened in 2019. They say he's the face card. They don't specify his involvement. In a lot of the other incidents, they say all the participants got the money from the victims, right? They defrauded the victims, then they linked up and got the money, and then they laundered the money. You don't see that regarding the incident in 2019, right? You don't see what they did with the $50K, right? And again, there are 5 defendants, and y'all get this. You don't see Damone Jones. You know how it was hard for me to find information about Damone Jones's career? It was harder for me to find Damone Jones on this indictment. I'm just saying, I'm looking, again, I got to read this indictment. I couldn't even find his name until they started talking about money laundering, wiretap fraud, but they don't mention his name in any of the incidents, right? Now, he's the one person that not only is he in this indictment, he's in the other indictment with Terry Rozier, right? And that's involving allegedly him and Terry Rozier having insider information, defrauding legit gambling companies, allegedly, right? But, you know, so they got him kind of multifaceted, right? Like they got him in this indictment, then they got him over here in the other indictment, put that bad boy together, and boom, let's have this press conference, right? Let's talk about what's happening in the NBA. We got an NBA coach. We got a lot of stuff here. But y'all, like, I'm not going to lie. I was listening to the press conference on my way to my office, right? And I don't know. It was just something about this press conference. I was like, man, there's a lot of pomp and circumstance here, man. Like it's a lot of grandstanding. It just seems and sound like a stretch, you know. And a lot of times you get that, you know. Probably the worse it looks a lot of times is the day when all this information come out, right? But it just felt kind of weird. You know what I mean? It felt like they were making it bigger than what it was. And when I'm not undermining the charges, I'm not saying this is nothing to play with when you're dealing with the feds, because the feds are the feds. Let's keep it real. But at the same time, I'm looking at this indictment closely, and I'm like, did you have to even put Chauncey Billups on this indictment? It seemed like the only reason why you put him on here is now you tied the NBA into this, and now it's a big story. It comes across as a big investigation. Let's keep it real. He is a coach, but you don't have nothing he was allegedly involved in 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, right? You go pre-COVID to talk about some incident that happened in Vegas, right? And you can't even be specific as to his involvement. You just say, yeah, he was a participant in this rigged shuffling machine. Well, what about the shuffling machine? Well, who he got? Did he have it? Was he the owner of it? He was a face card? All right, tell us, was he an active participant? Did he know he was the fraud? I'm just saying, I don't play poker, y'all. So I don't know, maybe somebody could help me out. Is it possible that you could be invited to a poker game, right? And maybe you the headliner. Maybe they say, look, Chauncey, we want you to come play in this poker game. Folks going to show up because your name on it, right? We're going to pay you X amount of dollars for your presence, and that's the deal, right? Could it be possible that Chauncey just got a check to show up, kind of like an appearance fee, right? And he showed up, he played poker, got his money, and he was out. Right? And not the money that they defrauded the alleged victims with, just the money for his appearance fee. But again, is it possible that you could play poker and like really be oblivious to what's going on in the high-tech machines and rigged shuffling machines and stuff? Like, is it possible that he just showed up, got his money, got his legit money, and bounced? You know, and I'm looking at Chauncey, y'all. I'm looking at the day. I think it was footage of him leaving the facility. I think after he bonded out, you know, and he just has this unfazed look. He got this like, man, I can't believe they got me tied up into this. You know what I mean? I don't want to say he looked unfazed, but it just kind of was like, man, I can't believe I'm a part of this. Like, really? And it ain't nothing to play with, because, I mean, let's keep it real. The moment that happened, automatically on leave. That obviously affects his job. Now he got to deal with this, lawyer fees and whatnot. You got the NBA. You already know how that go. They going to sever that relationship. Oh, no, they don't want nothing to do with that. Say what? Oh, you messing with the bottom line. Nah. And so, but again, I'm just looking at this piece of paper, and I remind the jury, y'all, doing jury selection, I say, look, this indictment, this bill of information, this piece of paper, that's all it is, y'all, a piece of paper, right? It's like standing in the line at Walmart or whatever mart, right? And you in the line, and you waiting to get checked out, and you see that salacious story on that magazine, right? Whatever that magazine, National Enquirer, you know what I'm talking about. And it's one of those stories where you read it, you probably don't even give it much thought. It's bizarre. It's salacious. You know, it's right there. But is it true? I don't know. I don't know. But guess what? We know that the Fed's going to have to back this up. They're going to have to back it up. But traditionally, when we talk about the Feds, I'm not going to lie, it's been known and documented that their conviction rate is normally high, right? I mean, last time I really looked at it, we were talking about in the 90s, 90% conviction rates, right? In various jurisdictions. Normally when the Feds come, they come with it, right? They already have their evidence signed, sealed, and delivered. That bad boy be airtight, y'all. They got their witnesses lined up. More than likely expect somebody who could have been charged on their witness list, right? Gonna take that stand and testify against your client. You better believe it. It's coming. It's coming. But lately what I've been seeing, I can even talk about the Diddy case. Lately, you getting a lot of pomp and circumstance. You getting a lot of, we gonna prove this and we gonna establish that and we got witnesses to show this and we gonna show that. I tell the jury, don't you hate broken promises? Don't you hate when the state or the government gets up there doing opening statement and saying we gonna show this and the evidence gonna establish that and we gonna have witnesses that are gonna be able to demonstrate that my client committed this and committed that. Don't you hate broken promises? Was it me? Because from that witness stand, that's not what I saw. That's not what I heard. But lately, the cases I've been seeing and I've been covering, I've been seeing the U.S. Attorney's Office coming woefully short. I mean, I'm sorry. And so when I look at this indictment, and again, when I listen to that press conference, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know. It seems bigger than what it really is. And again, I'm looking at the indictment, and Chauncey Billups could have easily been off this indictment, and looping him in from a 2019 incident. By law, you could do it, obviously. And that's the thing. When you get entangled into this kind of situation and the power the U.S. Attorney's Office has, or even the state attorney's office, that's how you get caught up in this kind of situation. And now you got to spend money on attorney's fees. And now your job is in jeopardy. Now you on leave. And now you got to fight. And so, y'all, I don't know. It's too early. But I would not be shocked if we don't hear over time this kind of ends up like, that's all that was? What? You better believe Chauncey coming with his team. And so, y'all, I don't know about this one, but I'm going to cover it. You got the incident with Terry Rozier. Again, you got Damon Jones he like a chameleon. I'm in this indictment. I'm in the other indictment. He kind of tied these two stories together, right? And you got this big story involving the NBA. You got a basketball coach for the Portland Trailblazers. You got another former basketball player, and you got a current basketball player. Again, this ain't nothing to play with. It's serious. You hear a lot of noise. You hear a lot of information going on. But as it relates to Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones and Terry Rozier, let's just wait for all the evidence to come out. Y'all already know they lawyered up, and them lawyers going to go through all that with a fine-tooth comb, y'all. So let's stay tuned on this story. Give it some time to develop. I'm going to keep you posted. It's interesting. No question about it. It's interesting. We got the NBA involved. You got my attention, that's for sure. So, look, y'all, that's my time. I just wanted to weigh in on this story. Stay tuned. We got more coming for you. Thanks for your support. I appreciate the love. I'm out, y'all. One.
Call your first witness. I got Kenneth Willis. He bought his business, he gon' take it the distance. Listen, he giving gaming, believing high level represent. Call your first witness. Yeah, call your first witness.
Griff has been paid for this endorsement.